Hi guys, welcome back to the shop. Today I'm going to get started on the swing arm extension. We've already made the jig to put it together in, actually take it apart and put it together. And now we're going to actually cut it and weld it and machine it and all the stuff that goes into doing it. So let's get on with it. Okay, um, I found the center of the swing arm here, and I'm going to just take a rough measurement. That's all we really need. I'm going to go from the center there .12 inches on both. Yep, it's just a rough measurement. It doesn't have to be precise. And then I'm going to take a piece of tape and go around here, and that kind of helps maintain a straight line on a piece of tubing like this. Oops. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to this one or not without turning it around. And we want to make sure we're on the right side of it. Make sure we're on the same side on both of them. Okay, so that kind of keeps our cut straight anyhow. And the important thing here is to make sure that we have enough room to get a stub up in here. And I think I'm going to move it back a little bit further because I've got about 2¼ inches here I can get a stub into, and only about 1 inch here. So I'm going to move this because this here that doesn't go all the way through, and that is actually going to come off anyway. So I am going to move these. Let's see, what do we got if we're at that point? Got 1.5 inches. Oh, wait a minute. We're going from 2 1/8. Yeah, I think that's going to be better. That'll give me a little more to get it into the front tube. We'll be cutting this and cutting down each end of the extension piece so that it slides inside this tubing, and it'll be the same size on the outside. So that's how we'll do it. Let's get these cut off. first one. Okay, we've got them both cut off, and I'm measuring 80 thousandths. So I've got to look for something like, I don't know, probably 140 thousandths, 160 thousandths, hopefully, something like that that I can get in that'll give me some rigidity. I can turn it down and still have at least 80 thousandths left in the the part that drives in. That's what I want. I don't know whether I'll be able to get it or not, but that's what I want. So that's where we're at, and you can kind of tell now maybe why we did everything we did. Let me kind of piece it back together. As far as our pivot pin, so you can kind of see the reason for the standoffs now, that those are going to keep us at the right attitude here, just where it was before we cut it. And the same as on this back here, but now we're going to actually go into the second hole back here, and I've got the right side here. It's kind of weird here. Okay. Almost put those back too far, didn't I? I did that one. But when we get the other piece in there, it'll hold it where it needs to be. All right, there's our 1.5 inches. So it's looking a little more, you can kind of tell what we're doing now. So this is our new piece. We'll have, with our new slug that goes in there, it'll go into each side there as much as I can get in there. It's probably going to be about 1 inch, maybe 1.5 inches. 1.25 inches maybe. No, 1.5 inches. Yeah, be 1.5 inches on each end, and that should give us plenty after it's welded. I'll be doing some rosette welds also, so I'll drill through here and there on both of them, and that'll give us a little extra on the inside of the tube, and then we'll go all the way around. So I think this is the jig that we made is going to make things a lot easier. This, when we get the new tube in there, since it's the same diameter as the outside of this, it'll fall right down onto these. I probably should have moved them back. I forgot that when I took it out that it would move back. That's what it was. No problem. Be okay. Now we've got our piece of chrome moly here, so we'll cut off the chunk that we need. I'm just going to kind of mark this out. That's my first step. We've got about 1 inch plug that goes into each end here. We'll cut down each end here about 1 inch, and that's what goes into the existing tube on the swing arm, just to give it a little more structure. So the plan is to have it an interference fit where we'll have to drive it into the existing tube. The ID on the existing tube is about 1.093, so try to get it at least probably 2 or 3 thousandths larger than that. I'm going to radius this just a little bit for the weld. So I can get a little more penetration on the weld here. just going to skim that part there because it's already right at 1.25 inches, and that's the size of the swing arm tubing. Okay guys, got these extensions made. I've got one installed. I just need to weld it. Going to do the other one here. I'm a little shorter on this end, so I had to kind of custom make it here, primarily because of where the this little bracket is right in here. It's the end of this. So it's not quite an inch. It's I think it's about 1/10 of an inch less. So that's my short end. I think this, I'm going to have to jack this up to get it in there. I'm going to have to get a bigger swing here. Okay, this extra spread here should be corrected when we weld it, because that's where it's supposed to be, right there. So it's all the way up against it. Just give you a better view of everything we've done here. And I did cut this stud off here for the brake. And this, let me show you. This is all the stuff I cut off because I'm not going to use the chain guard. From most of the pictures I've seen of the MX, they don't have one, but they have the chain guide. So that I'll go ahead and make. And of course the brake stay will go on up here closer to the front, almost to the pivot. So I'll have to add that when I get it on the bike so I can kind of see where it needs to go. But as far as our extension, that's it. You're looking at it. So we'll weld these up and we'll weld our rosettes. So that's next. All right, I think we got it tacked in, so I'm going to go ahead and weld it. And we're finishing up here with a little brace across where we put the piece in. All right, guys, got her done. Got our braces across the top and the bottom. It just goes where the insert was, the piece that we put in. Actually, the top one I go quite a bit over, but the bottom one is just along that area. Here's the piece we put in. This is right there. The fixture seemed to really work good. This is this piece right here is setting on this, not one on this side, so it looks like it's messed up, but it's not. It's everything's pretty much as it should be. So I think it's going to work. I've seen a few of them in the day that worked. Nobody ever broke one that I know of. This should give you a lot better stability over the whoopie-doos and you know, like desert racing or something. You know, you extend the wheelbase 1.5 inches, so it helps stability, and it will also increase the travel in the rear end as long as you put longer shocks in, which that's what we're going to do. That's probably going to be the most expensive thing that I buy for this bike. So I don't have any idea now what shocks I'm going to get. It's still up in the air. I've been looking, and I just don't know yet. So probably after the first year sometime I'll pick up some shocks. But that's, I think we're a success. It's not the greatest welds in the world. I've never claimed to be a professional welder, but I usually get it done. So guys, there we go. Another successful project. This one was a little long, and I tried my old audio with the welder at one clip. I can't remember which one, and I think that's going to fix that. But for some reason, the remote audio, the Rode audio that I'm using, it doesn't like the welder. So I'll see how that one does, and I'll try to remember when I'm doing the welder, when I'm using the welder, to use the other audio if it does better. I'm not sure whether it has. So we'll see. Well, anyway, I think we're good to go. I've got a wheel to lace yet. I've got a back wheel laced. The front wheel that I was using was a used wheel, came off the TS250. Now I remember why I replaced it. It had a couple dents in it, bad ones, so I had to take that apart, and I've got another one ordered. Of course, it's coming out of Thailand, but usually they're pretty quick, a couple weeks. So when I get that one, I'll probably film the lacing of that wheel, and then I'll be able to make a roller out of this thing. So we can kind of look at the stance, see how things, see what's improved, or maybe didn't improve, I don't know. I've still got to get some shocks. Those are probably going to be the most expensive thing that I put on this bike at what I can think of right now, because it's pretty much just been pieces and parts. So anyhow, if you don't mind, give me a thumbs up and a subscription if you haven't already. If you have, thank you very much. Thanks for going along on the ride. See you next video.